Good afternoon, my friends. This is Isaiah, and you are here. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. Hope things have just been going absolutely fantastic for you in your life. Subject content I want to discuss today. It's kind of a strange title, but focal points of permission. What did I mean when I typed out the clip art for this in the title? Focal points of permission. Well, focal points of permission are just that. It's something you can focus on that gives you permission mentally to do the extraordinary. What is a focal point that I'm speaking of? Well, focal point is something that you place mentally outside of yourself, and it works kind of like a placebo, which I discussed placebo effects in my previous video, but it works kind of like a placebo, giving yourself permission to find your inner power, to find your inner authority, your inner strength. We see this taking place whenever we pray, whenever we perform maybe a ritual of some sorts, or any kind of religious practice, or anything that you're doing, any kind of activity that you're partaking in that you perceive to be outside of yourself. It's an action taken where we may talk to some higher being, a higher form of life, God, if you will. Anything that we do that we view as beyond the realm of our capabilities, that we need assistance with, that would be the definition of a focal point. It gives us something to focus on, to focus our intention and our energy into, so that something may happen in return. Now, the purpose of this video is not to denounce anyone's religious beliefs, philosophies, or ideologies. I do not have one universal truth. I do not ever want to claim to have the truth or have it all figured out, because believe me, I don't. I am learning something new every single day. And I like to reiterate this fact in my videos just so everyone knows that the only thing I'm doing here is sharing my experiences and situations that, I've had encounters with, in hopes that in some small way it may be applicable to your life. And this is one of those things. I learned recently, just this year in 2019 actually, that we don't need anything outside of ourselves to make any sort of change or to see miracles happen. Without getting too far into the discussion of religion and philosophical ideas, throughout the years I've had many experiences, both with organized religion and non-organized religion. I've studied into many different forms of spiritual practice, and I've tried many different things. You can't truly understand something until you've experienced it for yourself. I mean, you can have an opinion as to what you think something is, but until you've experienced it firsthand, you truly cannot have a firm grasp or understanding on specific concepts, the ins and outs surrounding any specific set of ideas. This is just another one of those things. I've mentioned in previous videos this year that I've had a lot of adversity this year, that I've been put under a lot of pressure, and I've had to face and overcome many things this year. It's made me stronger. My overcoming these obstacles and facing these adversities gave birth to this channel. Got to a place where I just really didn't want to see anyone else go through some of the trials that I've had to go through senselessly and without some sort of guidance or hope, if at all possible, if I can offer that. There's been a lot of people whom I've studied under, and a lot of really good videos containing content that helped me through the hard times, and this is my way of sharing some of that content, kind of with my own spin on it, my experiences with it. Just this year, I was putting my faith really hard into a lot of, we'll just call them spiritual practices. And they work. They're very, very effective. But this year, it got to a place where it stopped working. Things that had worked for me in the past no longer served me. And I couldn't figure out why. I'm doing this thing. I've got all my stuff laid out here. I'm, getting in the right mind state. I'm meditating. I'm doing these things. I've got all my tools and my implements together that I'm going to need for my spiritualistic practice. And I'm not getting the results that I need. If anything, things are getting worse. That's what I experienced just this year. So I had to dive deeper. I had to go beyond the surface level of my spiritual practice and really take a good look at the man in the mirror and ask myself, where am I at? What's going on? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? What do I need to be doing? That was my questions to the universe, God, creator, whatever you will call it. Insert whatever label best suits you in your life. And I was guided here towards the end of the year to go back down towards the basics, to some of my roots of my learning and understanding, to some of the beginning steps of my awakening, if you want to call it that. And I did that. And I rediscovered something. I rediscovered that I am the center, I am the source of all creation. The same energy that created existence itself dwells and flows through my body. I am a fragmented, singular expression of consciousness itself. I'm just animated in a body, known as Isaiah Grimes. This is my flesh, this is my vehicle. I've discussed this concept in the Human Avatars video. But I am just inside of this vehicle. I am a spiritual, eternal soul. I am connected to all creation, all source. I am connected to the trees, the birds. I'm connected to everything that has life, everything inanimate, everything. Because at a molecular level, everything is all connected. We're just different arrangements of specific chemical compounds. And I had to come back to this understanding. I had to come back to source, if you will, and learn that all the power I've ever needed and will ever need resides within me as it resides within you. I'm not saying this because I'm anything special. I'm saying this because I am you and you are me, and we are one. If you have a special need in your life, prayer can help. It does help the subconscious mind believe that you're taking some sort of action. So it allows you to get past the disbelief that what you're praying for will come to pass. See, when you have disbelief, when you don't believe in what it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing will not work. Whether that's making a bologna sandwich or praying for something to come into your life that you feel like you're missing. It gives you permission to align your energetic body with the circumstance or outcome that you're seeking. That's all any kind of spiritual practice is it's a focal point that gives us permission to move beyond the boundaries and limitations of the human mind. And when we discover that we don't need the focal points, we don't need the instruments, we don't need the books, we don't need a certain number of candles set up, or we don't need certain spiritual implements, if you will, to help us achieve that which we want to achieve. Now, these things do help because, as I've mentioned, we are a soul and we are an eternal being, but that eternal being does temporarily reside in this body. And this body, as you know it, is its own thinking, feeling, acting, independent organism. This body is not an eternal spiritual being. This body alone cannot achieve miracles. It's the connection to our higher state, our soul, if you will, that gives us the power to achieve miracles. It's exactly why the placebo effect works, as I mentioned yesterday. We're telling ourselves that there's some sort of medical intervention that's making us better, and we're not doing it ourselves. But if you were to consume a placebo while you were sick, there is a very high probability that you will get better from it. There's been countless tests and studies done on this very subject. Well, that same power is there regardless of whether or not you are under the influence of a placebo or are wearing a specific necklace that will amplify your spiritual abilities. Now, I realize this is a heavy subject for a lot of people, as there are many devout spiritual practitioners probably watching this video as I speak. And again, there is a beauty that comes with spiritual practice. I have not abandoned my spiritual practices, nor have I abandoned my faith in them. I've merely came to the realization that I am the key element in those spiritual practices. I am that missing link that makes and brings together all of the focal points so that they work. You can achieve the same goals and same miracles with or without your focal point. There is a rich history, and there's a beauty, and there's a culture in the many diverse religions and philosophical practices in the world today. And we need to embrace those traditions, all of them, for their beauty and for their individuality and for the knowledge that they bring to the table. You see, we are evolving as spiritual beings, and as we evolve further going forward, more and more people will make this discovery. And the act of religious expression or spiritual practice will seem primitive, because going forward in the future, we will overcome the limitations and boundaries of the human mind, and we will start to recognize and understand that we are more of a spiritual being than we are of a human being, and that it is simple for us to tap into our spiritual abilities and gifts that we all innately harbor and hold on to, and that we have inside of each and every one of us. You don't need to see a medicine man, you don't need to see a special kind of preacher, you don't need to see a shaman to discover these truths. All of the truths you will ever need to discover already exist within you, waiting to be unlocked. You are your own god or goddess. You are made of the same stuff that all of creation is made of. You are everything. I would love to hear your ideas on this. So please share your thoughts, ideas, and comments in the box below. And if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and help me share my content so that it may serve someone that may feel lost out there in the world. I hope everyone is having just a wonderful experience right now at this stage in your life, in your evolutionary journey. And I hope that you're going through things that you not only need to experience for your growth, but that are very pleasurable and exciting for you. Until next time, my friends, I hope that you have much peace in your mind, much love in your heart, much balance in your soul. Take care, my friends.